All right, guys. Back in week 2, you had a sneak peek at how Kevin King runs the Freedom Ticket Extra sessions that he does weekly, on a weekly basis. And you had to listen in on how he answered a lot of the Freedom Ticket Extra students' questions. Now, we've got another bonus module for you. What we had mentioned in the past was it's not just Kevin King who goes on Freedom Ticket Extra. I myself go on there. We have other brand evangelists and trainers here who go on there. But also once a month, Kevin King brings on an expert to talk about a unique subject. And this is one of the best ones that we've had. It's from a while back, and her name is Paulina Mason. And in this module, she's going to talk about pricing. All right, because that's a question that a lot of Amazon sellers have. All right, I've got this product. I've got the keywords. I'm launching. Like, how do I price it? You know, like, should I price it really high? Should I price it really low? Do I raise it over time? Do I lower it over time? Paulina is going to answer that in the next 2 modules. So over the next 2 modules, you guys are going to have a bonus session here of Freedom Ticket Extra. Hope you like it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Freedom Ticket, not Q&A, Freedom Ticket Extra for Monday, April 20th, 2020. How's everybody doing? There's still a few of you coming in. I know most of you are watching this on the replay, so welcome to you as well. Today is not the normal Q&A day like we normally do with me. We have a special guest, as you can see on the screen here. Paulina Mason, she's coming to us from Turkey. She actually lives on the coast in the country of Turkey, over in the Middle East, or straddling Asia and Europe, actually. She's a really smart woman. You're going to learn a lot of stuff today. She's the owner of Shopkeeper, which is a profit tool for Amazon sellers, and they're just growing like crazy. At some point, they may even be the quote-unquote QuickBooks for Amazon sellers, or something like Xero or QuickBooks. That's kind of what they're migrating to. It's an advanced tool for Amazon sellers. But she knows a lot about profit, and a lot about pricing, and a lot of cool things that how can you get more profit. So as a lot of you are starting on your journey, or maybe you've already got your first product launch, how you price your product and how you do things, there's certain psychologies and certain tricks and certain things that you need to be aware of. And that's what she's going to share with you today. I think this is going to be a very, very valuable and insightful lesson for everybody. As we go along, if you happen to have a question, feel free to type it into the question box for Paulina. So Paulina, welcome. It's great to have you here.
Hi, Kevin. Nice to be here. Nice to be here indeed. I'm calling you from the beautiful country of Turkey. It's a little dark outside. It's 9 p.m. for us.
That's
and
right. It's
11 a.m. for you guys. Right.
I think the last time I saw you was where do we see? Was it Israel? When I was speaking last year. That's almost a year.
Sellerfest Israel. That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Time flies, man. Jeez. And then I saw you in Prague at another event, and seen you many places. So it's always a pleasure to have you, and welcome. So I'm going to turn the floor over to you. And
all right, let's do it.
Let me make you the presenter here. All right. You should have a little dialog box that's popped up on your screen.
All right.
There we go. Perfect. I can see everything just great.
All right. So you see my title in the first slide?
I do. Pricing fundamentals. And I see your beautiful face, so you're good to go.
All right. So today we will talk about pricing fundamentals. And the first thing I will tell you right away why you should listen to the whole class and why it's important to have the fundamentals and basics down. The way you will define your price, it will matter so much that it will actually affect how your product is going to look like. If you will price it lower, if you come out with $10.99, then the product will be a bargain type of product. And if you come up with the $25, then the product will be the fancier product, right? It's a different product that will come out after you have your pricing strategy. So today I will do it workshop style, and you can follow me step by step by step. Everything I do, you can copy paste the same thing for your own product. Okay, so get your Google Sheets ready and your pen and paper next to you so you can note what's important, and we will do it workshop style. But I was thinking, in the beginning, just to warm it up, do you want to start with the fun thing or like important thing? What do you think, Kevin?
I think let's do some fun. Let's do some fun stuff.
Fun. I knew it. Let's do fun first. So fun, what is fun for me in terms of pricing? I really love pricing psychology. And pricing psychology bits are those little things that make it more interesting. There's a lot of research done online, how to tweak and your prices, what digits to use, and how to affect the buyer psychologically so that they would click into your listing more. So we'll start with that. I'll just tell you one tip that you can use right away and apply to your prices that would actually be psychologically influencing your buyer. Let's talk about price endings. The ending of 99 that you see everywhere. And you go to the retail stores, everyone is using 99, 99, 99 at the end, right? But what's the deal with that? Well, the answer is very common sense and very basic. The difference between $29.99 and $30 is simple. The first one you read as 20-something, this next one you read as 30-something. So there's nothing new about this. Retailers are using the first one because it seems like a better bargain. But there's where psychology comes in. What happened to all of us from seeing so many of these 99s everywhere? You go everywhere, 99, 99. We started to feel like when we see that type of a price with that kind of ending, that it's some sort of a bargain. It's sort of automatically implied. As soon as you use the ending of 99, it is implying that it's a bargain. Now look at the $30. It's round. It doesn't look like a bargain at all. It looks like either it's a new product or they just published it, or like even makes you stand with the price and think about it a little more. And it's like $29.99. It seems like a very finished, complete price, and $30 feels like unfinished. It's sort of like a temporary holder here. So this you can use. The feeling that 9, the digit of 9 gives, is a bargain feeling. So what you can use, and research has been done, that when you compare two prices, $34 or $39, they did research that shows that actually $39 gets higher click-through into the listing than $34, just because it feels like a better bargain. Okay, side by side, it feels like a big difference, but imagine all of them around is like $37, $36.99, $34.99, $35.99. When you see all the hundreds of listings around yours, the 39 is more clickable into than 34. 34 detracts you a little bit, and 39 invites you a little bit more to click into it. So here's the tip, the psychological tip that I'm recommending. Use charm digits. Those charm digits are 9, 7, 5. Why 7 and 5 suddenly? Well, Walmart is using 997 a lot, or 97, 97 at the end. And I've seen other stores are using 95 a lot. So 5, 7, and 9 are most commonly used endings, and they're called charm digits. So this is the charm pricing. So when you're constructing your price, it's not only about the ending. I would always avoid even numbers like 4 or 6 or 8. I would never use that in my prices. I would always go with 35, 37, 39, and if it's even 31 and 33 rather than 32 and 34. So avoid the even numbers and only use those odd numbers all the time. So this really, really helps with the click-through rate into the listing. And on Amazon, obviously, the more click-ins you get, the higher the sales. Now let's talk a little bit about the unusual endings. Some people like to experiment and put weird endings like 27 cents at the end. And the truth is that you will make the most money from putting 99 at the end. Well, if you look at this spreadsheet here that I made for you, the yearly profit is the biggest when you use 99 cents. And in reality, when I am a buyer, I'm reading all of these prices, 29 something, 29 something, 29 something. They're all the same because I'm just skimming. I'm not focusing on your price on the page. I'm skimming so many prices one by one, all of these listings next to each other. And the one which is 29 something, that's all I read. I don't even read the whole thing. And if you give me 29, 27, I have to scratch my head there a little bit and like squint my eyes and I just move on. It's too much to comprehend. I can't comprehend the price very quickly. It's weird, it's off-putting, and it's not inviting into itself. So use the most commonly used endings, and that helps the ease of comprehension of a price, therefore more click-through. So I told you two things here in the fun part, which was use 5, 7s, and 9s in your prices, and always use the 99 ending. Now, this doesn't apply if your item is 1,500. Don't make your price 1,500.99. This applies to most of us sellers who are selling, less than $100 item. So most private label items are probably in that range, somewhere from 10 to 100. So in that range, 99 ending is the go. Now, if you're selling very, very big ticket items, it looks much better if you just round it, 1,400, 1,500. So just round it with the 00 at the end. So that's a specific different case. All right. So hopefully you liked it. Let's move on to important stuff. Are you okay with that, Kevin?
I'm good.
Kevin,
I'm good.
Kevin's there. All right. I thought you walked away, left me alone.
No, I'm right here. I just had to unmute myself.
All right. Let's get into it. Now, how everyone is deciding the pricing. I know most of my friends are doing like this. So look at the little piggy on the left. So that's the low income level. And the dollar bill at the right, that's the highest income level, right? So I just put the color coding here to say where the income level is. So now, if my friend would be somewhere here at the higher green part, right, like light green top, then they're putting themselves in that financial limitations box when deciding the price. Unfortunately, this happens to most of us. Okay, I'm selling a knife sharpener. How much I would pay at most for my item? Maybe $36 is the maximum ever I would pay, because who would pay $45 for a knife sharpener? Nobody. So I'm not going to charge more than $35. You are thinking of your own box, and maybe somebody who is a low income person, he's thinking, okay, 25 is the maximum I would ever spend. I would never ever spend more. But so if you are thinking in your own personal financial limitations box, you are not considering all the other boxes that exist. Right? So you are limiting your possibilities, and your strategy then becomes very, very luck-based. You're just going to be lucky if all of the rest of the world is thinking like that, or there are more buyers of the type that you are. So always try to climb out of your own financial limitations box. Try to forget who you are, how much you make, and what type of buyer you are, and just focus on what the market is for your particular product. Now, how to exactly do that? Like, what do I mean by that? Well, there are 3 types of buyers, right? There's the Scrooges. That's not a very nice word, but I like to use it. We could call them bargain hunters. And there's the big spenders, so that big spender is more like me, I just open Amazon.com. I just search for what I need and don't really look at the price too much, just because I'm too lazy to look. But my brother is that bargain hunter type. He's the guy with the green sweater there. He's gonna look for all the coupons, all the, price matches, research all the competing websites and search the cheapest price possible, and then apply all the coupons possible. And he's always doing it for every item he buys. Now, I sometimes do that if I'm buying a very expensive item, but most of the time I don't. So I'm in the big spender category, even though I'm not a $1 billion, maker like Kevin is here, right? So you don't have to be a billionaire to be a big spender, right? You could make no money and still be a big spender. So types of buyers is not about how much money you make. It's about your buying habits. Okay, so big spender can be influenced by the money that I make. Okay, I am the founder of a big software company. I do make a lot of money in my case, but there are people who don't, and they're still very big spenders. So why do you care? And why am I telling you that? It's probably generic information you're thinking. How does it apply to me? Now, when I am telling you all of these details, and we will get into step by step now, pick one of the products that is most important to you at the moment. Something that you are researching, you are deciding how much you're going to charge, you're calculating the cost of it. Pick that one and hold only that one in mind when we are doing the whole step through. That will make it easier. And once you did it for one product, you can do it for the rest. So pick the most important one to you, preferably a new product that you're just thinking about. So there's research been done that there are 24% of Scrooge types and 15% of big spenders, and the rest fall in the middle, 61%. So it's a very generic research that's been done on e-commerce buying types, and we cannot rely on this data exactly percent by percent, but it gives us a good feel, that there are less of those big spenders, and there's a lot in the middle, and there are some Scrooges. So it gives you a sense of what the world is about in types of buyers. Now, why do you want to know that information? Like, how is it important and how is it affecting? As I mentioned in the very beginning when I started my presentation, that it's important because, look, if you're going to charge $45, your item has to look completely different. You will go to your Chinese manufacturer and you will tell them, okay, let's upgrade this to stainless steel and let's put this titanium thing and then let's add the velvet bag and the luxury box. Then, so it's a completely different item. Now, if you're serving the bargain hunter, then you will say, okay, let's strip this, choose a cheaper metal, optimize the cost, optimize the cost, optimize the cost, right? That's you will do. And the product will come out to be completely different. So you want to know what type of buyer you're targeting. And especially you want to know in your keyword, in your category, how many buyers of each type that you have and how many sellers are competing for those buyers. So let's look at an example. So for example, here's one buyer, one seller that is targeting the Scrooges. So he's offering $11.99 price. And here's the luxury spender. So he has a very fancy looking same thing, right? And he's targeting the big spenders. So he completely offers different benefits. There's ergonomic design, all of these things. So these are the three different sellers. Now, how does it distribute using those percentages on top? 24%, 61, and 15. How does it look like? The actual money, how much do they make? Well, if you sell 1,000 units in this market a month, let's say, then if you use these percentages, 24% will be 240 units, right? So out of 1,000 units, that's how much you will sell for each type of buyer. So each of these guys are making that much profit per unit. So I am basing it on 40% margin just because 40% is that approximately average for any private label seller that I'm seeing on Shopkeeper app. So who is using my app? They're mostly making 30 to 40% margin, profit margin being private label sellers. So that's what I took. I took these prices that they are charging here and calculated their profit margin. And now we can see exactly how much monthly profit you could make if you were that seller in that bucket. So it looks like the guy who's selling for the Scrooges makes the least profit, and looks like the big spender is not like, naturally you would think, oh, okay, the biggest price item, I'll make the most money because the profit margin is the biggest. Actually not, because there are much less buyers in there. See, so the best place in this situation to be is in the middle, to sell an item that is in the middle price range. That's why you need to figure out your own formula, and I'll help you with that right now, exactly how and where for your product these numbers lie. So these percentages that I showed you are just average percentages. For now, we will calculate exactly what percentage of Scrooges you have for your keyword, and how many sellers are selling to the Scrooges, and how much money each type of seller is making. And then we will see how much wiggle space there is in each bucket, and where could you put your foot in? Where could you fit in the best? All right. So let's do it step by step, and walk with me. If you're watching a replay, just pause the video, do the step, and then follow through. All right, so I will use the same example, knife sharpener. So we'll simply open Amazon, type in knife sharpener. So pick your core keyword. I know you have many keywords that can describe your tool or your item. Just pick the one that is the most obvious, strongest one, right? So pick that one. Then we will open Helium 10 Chrome extension. And here you will load all of them and click on load more results to load another batch. So in total, I grabbed here 120 results. It will depend on your category. If it's very, very niche product and at 120 you start getting unrelated products, then choose less of the items, okay? But if it's a high selling item, popular thing like knife sharpener, 120 is good, statistically significant number to load. All right, and then all you have to do is simply export. So you'll use the export button. All right, so what you will get is the CSV file exported. So we will do the three things next. First, we will paste it to Google Sheets. So open your Google Sheets right now. Then we will remove all the slow sellers together, and we will remove sponsored listings. We will clean that up a little bit so to get better sense of the real pricing strategy, like the pricing thing that is going on for your category. Okay, so here I paste it into a Google spreadsheet. You will do the same. And then what we want is to enable a filter. Okay, so you'll click data, create a filter, and there on the sales column, you will click this little filter button and you will want to choose greater than 20. What I'm doing here is I am eliminating those listings that have less than 20 sales. Now the sales are estimates. These are not real figures, but it will give you a very good feeling of the buckets and where you should play, right? It will give you a very good sense. So I am eliminating anyone who's not selling that much. It means that their price is not showing itself worthy. So whatever price they set, if it's not selling, it means either it's overpriced or something not working out for them. So we are not wanting to look at them. I chose 20 here. 20 for a knife sharpener a month. That means like 1 unit, every 2 days or so. So imagine you're selling a $150 knife sharpener. It's still a good seller, even if you sell one a day. If you make $40 in profit, every day, it's good, So you can edit this number a little bit based on your own preference. But I like to use 20 because then you get more of the prices to see what the price range is. Next step, we will delete all the rows that have the sponsored listing sign. So it will be just a little dollar sign that Helium 10 will add in front of the brand. And then you can delete those rows. Now, the reason we want to delete them is because their price is not proven organically to work, right? They're pushing it with PPC, and that's a different dynamic going on there. So we want to eliminate them to just get the real sense of the price variation in your market. Next step, we will get all of this full range of prices for your product. So we'll just have a full list, the full range from the smallest to the highest. And we will define now how much the bargain hunter is paying on average, how much this average buyer is paying on average, and how much the luxury buyer. We will actually determine what exact prices are for your category for these three types of buyers. So take the pricing column and simply copy. So you have eliminated the slow sellers, eliminated the sponsored listings. Maybe there are some outliers, like somebody is charging, look here, going to 150. If you have another 500 over there, just delete that outlier. So delete the last top outliers, sometimes overpriced by dropshippers or resellers and something like that when they're low on stock. So if it's complete outlier and it's very, very different, then delete it from the list as well. So you cleaned up your list, paste it into the notepad, and you'll have a very nice price range. Like in this case, it's going 148 here to 13. I actually later removed the 224 because for me that was an outlier. Okay, so you will have this whole nice list of your price ranges in your product category. Now, what you will do with that? Well, most people, usually, if they do that kind of research, and people who like numbers, they go, now, how to decide, how much to charge? You look at this, okay, it goes from here to here. Well, what's the average? Then you add up all the sales, average is 26, but 26 gives you no information. Look, if I'm adding the outlier, your average will be higher. If I'm deleting the outlier, your average is lower. Like, it doesn't really give you a good sense of the numbers and the range, Maybe everybody's selling for $15 and then few guys for very high, and the average then doesn't give you any real information about the price. So instead, we will use this mathematical website, a calculator, but don't be scared by all these X's here and formulas. All you need to know is to type that into Google. Alcula.com calculator is just a random calculator that did the job that I wanted. I'm not affiliated with it. There are many calculators that calculate that. And what it's going to do for you is it will calculate the quartiles. And quartile, again, it's a number, it's a name I never heard of before I started being interested in pricing strategies and numbers. So if you've never heard of it, don't be scared of it. Ignore. Look, just look at the lower, median, and upper, and that's the numbers. So actually, these are exactly the numbers that you want to get that are bargain hunter, middle, and high. Now, why is it? Now, you will say, Paulina, I don't believe it. How one tool can give me this number? Like, how much is the paying? Well, actually, when you lay out all the numbers, what it gives you, these quartiles, what does it mean? It means like this. If your price range for knife sharpener goes from $589 to $148, that's a full price range that you just copied. Look, it says that 50% of all of the sellers are selling between $10.99 and $27.99. So that's the biggest density. Look, even though there is such a big price difference here between $27.99 and $148, only 25% of sellers are selling in that taller category, and the other 25% are here. So what this calculator gives you, it gives you that number of the middle. Like, where is that middle start and end? So now you know that most sellers are selling between $10.99 and $27.99. And that's exactly the magic number that you need to have. So now you know that for your product, for this knife sharpener, the bargain hunter is always paying less than $10.99, and there's 25% of sellers. And on average, like, he's paying between $10.99 to $27.99. So on average, $16.93. And if your price would be more than like $27, something like $35, you're already falling into the luxury buyer bucket. Okay, so it gives you a good sense of feeling where the most sellers are in the middle. This is great. So now you can start filling out your table. First thing we will do is we will find the number of competitors. So first step, count the number of competitors. Then we will count how many units they sell in each of the targets. So bargain hunters, sellers, how many units they sell and how many bargain hunters are buying, okay? And then each of the buckets the same. And then we will pick your place where you will have space, where it's not overcrowded yet, all right? All right, so let's see. So what you will do is you will count the number of competitors for each quartile. So let's take this $10.99 first. And select in your spreadsheet anything that is less than $10.99. So just drag and select it. And then at the bottom of the Google Sheets, there is this little thingy where the formulas are predefined for you. And you can check the count there. So it will be 22, for example, of those sellers that are selling in the selected cells. So just select the prices that is less than $10.99, including $10.99, and you will get your count. So that way I counted. In my case, I had 22 sellers selling here for bargain hunters, 37 in the middle, and 21 was targeting the luxury buyers. Okay? This is evenly distributed because we use the mathematical formula of 25%, 25%, and 50%. So there's no magic in this line yet. Okay? We are using this mathematical formula just to know where the most sellers are, so that you would define the $10.99 and $27.99, because it gives you so much information now about your product. Now you know that most prices where the most listings are is between $10.99 and $27.99. Remember, the average was $26. $26 tells you nothing. It doesn't tell you that it's from $10.99 to $27.99 most people. You know, it gives you wrong information, so it's very good to have this guideline here. Now we'll count the units sold. So the same way you will select it for less than $10.99, now you will, instead of price, you will select the cells in the sales column. So just add up the sales for that bucket. So whoever is selling less than $10.99, select those cells. Like in this screenshot, you see the upper quartile being calculated. So those sellers that are selling for luxury buyers, just select all of them. and sum up the number of sales. Again, it's an estimate, but a very good number for us to have to get a feeling of what we are dealing with. Here's the units sold. So now you see the units sold in total per month for that particular buyer type. So bargain hunters looks like they're buying 44%. 44% is bargain hunters here. That is very interesting, right? And 36% is the middle, and 21% is the luxury buyers. So in your specific category, when you do this math, you will have your own numbers. And it's a very interesting thing, because when I gave you the general statistic, remember it was 24% for the cruises, 61, but in your situation, in your category, it will be always different. So it's very good to have that number to complete the calculations that we are going for. So figure it out, and it will be kind of interesting information to have. For example, in my case, it's interesting. Look, 44% is the biggest number from the three, right? So it looks like, interesting insight, that knife sharpener buyers tend to act like Scrooges. It's a very important piece of information to have about your product. Now you know that, maybe luxury item will be harder to produce, because most people in the world sort of never ready to pay a lot of money for knife sharpener. It's not an item that they are ready to pay a lot, right? It seems like most people are using the Scrooges type, because we are not just one type all the time. Maybe when we are buying the knife sharpeners, we are the Scrooges. We're thinking, no, I cannot spend on that kind of thing that much money. But when we are buying a microphone for the podcasting, we are very different with that judgment. So we are a different buyer type at that time. So therefore, it's a very interesting information to have. You will know how it's going to affect your rankings, ratings, the general sense, general feeling, and general consensus from the public. So it's good information. All right, now the interesting numbers start coming in. So what is the total profit that each of these buckets make for the sellers? So it looks like simply what I did is the little formulas underneath, and I used 20% of the profit margin for the lower tier. Well, why did I do that? The reason is, in the low-priced items, it's very small wiggle space that you make your profit. You almost never make 40% on Amazon with the lowest items, especially less than $10.99. So I put 20% there. If you manage, to make 20%, that is awesome. So the formula is simply the units sold in total in that bucket. And then I went back to the spreadsheet and calculated the average price. So I didn't take $10.99. I selected all of them and checked what the average was, and probably was like 9 or 8. And I multiplied that by 20, so 0.2. So that's a 20% margin for that many units. That's how much profit in total. And then 40% margin I used for the other two buckets. Okay. After that, you arrive at the actual profit per competitor. Okay, so these guys who are dealing with the bargain hunters, they're making 3,000 something a month, each of them. And the one in the end, look at this guy, like each of these sellers who are charging more than 27, they're making 21,000 a month, And you will say, whoa, Paulina, I want to be in that bucket, the last one, 21,000. Of course, it's the biggest number. But wait, not so fast, because it's not about how much profit you're going to make. It's actually about how much cash investment is required as well. So it's not enough to just, sure, it's a lot of good information for me that this bucket makes the most. Now I know that there's a lot of luxury buyers and there's good sales for that. And, I can make money in this bucket. It's a good information to have, because remember in the beginning, when I showed you an example, it seemed like the middle bucket was the best. In my case right now, it looks like this bucket is the best to be. But that's not the end of the story. I can't base on that. Now, do I have enough money to invest in that? So I will need to calculate all of my costs as well when deciding my price. Okay, so we will do together the next step, and we will be calculating that number now. How much cash investment you will need for that particular item. First thing we will do is we'll calculate the cost of goods. Then we'll estimate Amazon fees. and other expenses as well. And then we will get your cost per unit. Okay, once you have your cost per unit, you'll be able to decide how much price you can charge, because if you have $19 costs, you're not going to charge $14, right? So you have to know your costs first before you decide what price is going to be. And then when you have your price, you'll see which bucket it falls into and so on. So everything ties together very nicely. Next. So look at this. You probably have something like that already, somewhere in your own spreadsheet, because I always have it when I start. And when I was being a seller, that's all I put, I put price. Okay, I'll probably charge $19.95 because it seems like a very good price for a knife sharpener. Manufacturing so much, shipping so much, referral fee, FBA fee. Cool, I'm gonna make $9. Okay, maybe I'm gonna hire a VA and maybe make a little bit less, but that's all I cared about. And I thought that's the end of it, But actually, that's not the complete picture. So there are 72 plus fees and charges that Amazon has. And don't be completely scared by this number because not all of them are essential. And I'll show you which ones are essential. Now, I'm the founder of Shopkeeper, right? So we actually specialize in pulling all of these 72 different fees from different reports and so on. So what you see here is one of our customers is a seller, and I obscured his name here. So he is selling, and you see how many different things are going on. If you look at the different fees, look, it's not only referral fees and FBA fees. It's sales tax collection fees, monthly storage fees, long-term, some prep fees, bubble wrap, disposal, removal, coupon redemption fees, lightning deal fees. There's sales tax payable and PPC and all of these many different strange holdbacks and so on. There's a lot going on in just one product. So to detangle all that, I'll give you an easier way. Okay, I know starting Amazon, it's already as complex as it is, and you don't want to think that there is such a huge, look at some fees, like low value goods tax shipping is such a small amount, So me being the founder of Shopkeeper, I know which ones are more prominent and more important and which ones are rare to appear. Okay, so when you're making your calculation, it will not be exact. It will be approximation, but a very good one. Okay, so it will be a much better approximation than this one that you may have already. Okay, so here's on the left is what I had when I started, and on the right is what I should have had. So these items we will go through one by one and step with me together, and we will calculate each of these lines for your product. Okay, so there's manufacturing related, shipping related, referral fee, all of these things. Okay, let's step one by one and determine how much profit we make. First thing we'll look at is manufacturing related. And probably in that line on your spreadsheet, you only had $3.99 as the cost of acquiring that product. But you didn't add into the price design or molds or inspection needed or maybe special tests for your kind of product. If you're selling wood product, you need to test it, on all these things. Why I'm suggesting to include that in your price? If you're an older seller, you can say, oh, I'm just going to count the production because the rest of the stuff like molds is just a one-time expense and it will be covered by my other profit. But when you're a beginner, you don't have that other profit, you have just limited amount of money. And when you are setting your price, your cost and your price is not forever. You are just setting your price for that 500 units that you will buy. So for example, I'll buy 500 units. I want to know exactly how much it cost me so that I set the proper price that I actually make money from my first batch, not lose money and then get from credit cards more, to replenish. So that's why I highly recommend for beginners to include all of that cost in the first cost calculation. Later, when you send the next 500 units, then you will not have molds cost anymore, design cost anymore, and that's okay. But in the beginning, put that all into consideration because it's not going to just sit somewhere there and actually make you lose money. You will know the real situation. Are you making money or not making money? And that's very important. So add all of that cost per unit. Here in my example, I'm assuming that we're going to buy 500 units. Okay, so I split up that into 500. So usually $1 for molds because knife sharpener mold about $500, just a rough estimate. Okay. So in this case, adding all of these numbers, $5.99, and that's what I will put into the manufacturing related row. Next, shipping related. So shipping is not only the sea shipping, it's also import tax. There could be some local shipping. For example, if you just shipped to yourself and then you ship by UPS or FedEx to Amazon, there will be local shipping costs as well. There could be customs bond. If you're shipping by sea, you may need to buy a single bond or, talk to your freight forwarder about this. It doesn't have to get very complex. Just ask the freight forwarder or whoever you're using for shipping, what's the estimate, and just divide that properly, including all the extra fees that they may charge you, including import tax. In my case, knife sharpener is going to cost me 93 cents if I'm doing by sea. Okay, so sea shipping is cheap. Usually by air it would be about $2, but by sea is very cheap, so it becomes 93 cents. Okay. Storage fees. For storage fees, very quick and easy way to pull it is from Helium 10 profitability calculator, again from the Chrome extension. So simply just choose a product that is similar size and weight and in the same category as yours. Doesn't have to be exact same because of course you will create something more unique and awesome, but just choose a pretty similar sized item for storage. They care about the dimensions, and put in 5 storage months and you will see your estimated cost. Now it says 20 cents for the January to September, and in Christmas time they increase the storage cost. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose 40 cents. Just roughly, but we want to be as close as possible, but rough. Now, why 5 months? Why not 3, not 1? Usually for your first items, they are slower to sell. And 500 units, it's a lot of units when you are a new seller and you don't have a lot of seller feedback, you don't have built up history as a seller. So it may take longer than you think. And after 6 months, it's when the long-term storage fee kicks in. So you never want to have as much stock as overstocking, after that. So ideally, you want to order as many units as it will last you for 5 months maximum at most, because look, if you're doing sea shipping, 2 months for sea shipping, 1 month for production, so 3 months lead time, and in total 3 months. So you'll want to start selling and get a feel, so that will take another month. That means 1 month later you'll already have to reorder, and keep the 5 months in storage in order not to feel rushed to run out of stock. In my case, 40 cents is what I get from the estimator here. Now, the next item is refunds related. Why do we care about refunds? Because you will have refunds whatever you're selling. And the rate of refund will be different, but it will affect your bottom line. And if you don't put that into your price, then you are always going to think that you're making money, but when the refunds come in, you're going to lose money. So especially if you're playing with the thin margins where the lowest bargain hunter prices are, you want to know how much each refund is costing you. I pulled up here from Shopkeeper a person's order which was refunded. So look, on the green side, on the left, is everything related to the order, when the order came in, when the sale was done. And on the right side, all these little numbers on the red side, are when the refund came in. So essentially, look, all of them. So for example, principal is the price that the person paid and gave you the money, so it's green. And then refund came in and that money was taken away from you because of refund, So all of these are reversed, but look at this interesting thing. FBA fee was never reversed. That means when the refund comes in, you do not get back FBA fee. It just because they did the processing, the packing, the shipping, and they are not going to give you back because the cost is incurred. Amazon charged you and they will not give it back to you. So $3.48 in this case is not returned to you. And also refund administration fee of 57 cents is going to be added. And also for some categories, you get this returns processing fee, which is equal to FBA fee as well. I'll tell you a little bit more on the next slide. So in total, you see that all of these extra things, FBA fee plus these 2 miscellaneous, makes you $7.53 cost for every bought and returned item. Okay, so that's your cost per refund. Now, Let's look at my knife sharpener. My knife sharpener, remember on my spreadsheet, I had FBA fee $3.48. And refund administration fee is actually 20% of referral fee. So just use my formula here. Put your own number. Now you will say, Paulina, what's that returns processing fee? I never heard of that. Like, what's that extra? Actually, it's equal to FBA fee. Look, another FBA fee when the refund comes in. What's that mean? Well, for some categories like apparel, watches, jewelry, shoes, blah, blah, these categories that you see listed here, Amazon is offering every customer to try it on and return it for free. And unfortunately, you, the seller, is paying for that luxury. Okay, so if you're in certain categories, you will charge another FBA fee to process the refund and to put it back into inventory. So if you are unlucky like me and I do sell in apparel category, I always get charged the returns processing fee in addition to FBA fee when the refund comes in. But for a knife sharpener, it's not in this category. So I'm only adding $3.48 and the 60 cents, and it becomes $4.08. So that's the total cost per refund. So this is when it's sellable. Okay, so that means that the knife sharpener, probably the box was open, but they never used it or something like that. It's sellable again. And that is $4. Now, what if it's not sellable? What if they used the knife sharpener and like ruined it or broke it or something and it's not sellable anymore? Well, unfortunately, then the cost is higher to you. In that case, and calculate this situation for your product as well. So FBA fee is the same like in the previous screen. Refund administration fee, same. This one, same. Now, also add in cost of manufacturing and shipping, because when the knife sharpener comes back damaged, you cannot sell it anymore and you are losing what you paid for manufacturing and shipping for that item. So essentially, it's a lost cost to you. And you will pay either disposal or removal fee to Amazon. Maybe you are removing to your own warehouse. You'll be fixing up those refunds, cleaning them up, or something, reselling later. Or you will just ask Amazon to dispose it. And in both cases, it's 30 cents for knife sharpener. But for your case, could be different fee. So just go to Seller Central Help and type in FBA removal and disposal order fees, and you will find the exact fee for your particular product, how much you will pay for that. And now we get the cost $11.30 for the knife sharpener when it's unsellable. So now what do I do with these two numbers? These two numbers were $4.08 and $11.30, one for sellable, one for unsellable. So knife sharpener gets refunded about 7% of the time, and that number you'll have to estimate for yourself. Refund rates are between 2% and 15%. If you're selling shoes, they will return a lot. And if you're selling grocery items like the chocolate bars, they will likely never refund them, so it will be like 1-2% refund rate. So Google a little bit and research what your refund rate is likely to be. If you don't know it, use something like between 5 and 8%. I put 7% here for knife sharpener because it's an example and I don't really know. So that's a good estimated percentage to use. Okay, so your average refund cost number is just simply this plus that divided by 2, Why did I decide that? You will have to decide what's your own average refund cost. You have to think how many will be sellable and how many unsellable. Look, if it's a shoe, very likely most of them are going to be sellable. So I'll use then 80% of this and 20% of that into this formula. You could say half and half, but it's more true if you think about how many of your product will be sellable again when they refund it, and then get that refund cost. Once you have your refund cost, then you can use my little formula here. You don't need to read it right now if you're just watching for an overview. But if you're doing step-by-step, just pause it and do the calculation yourself. And we come up with 53 cents for each unit sold that is for refunds. So it doesn't matter that that item was not refunded. It's taking into account all 500 units, how many we are going to sell, how many are going to get refunded, at what cost is going to get refunded. And it turns out to be that 53 cents you have to budget within your price for the refunds. This is how you're going to get that number. All right. Kevin, you guys tired yet?